Swiss Ambassador to the Philippines, Dr. Jikyung Kang, President and Dean of the Asian Institute of Management, our birthday boy, Dr. Kenneth Go, Head of Zuidi Graduate School for Development Management of AIM, of course, Ms. Tina Ampere, founder of Tech Talks, our judges and mentors present, our finalists, our contestants, our awardees of the Healthtech Challenge, honored guests, ladies and gentlemen, magandang umaga sa inyo lahat. Good morning. Good morning. First of all, I would like to congratulate the awardees and the finalists of the Healthtech Challenge Philippines, and of course the Embassy of Switzerland and AIM for organizing this competition. It brings me hope that some of the brightest innovators are determined to come up with innovative solutions for our healthcare industry. With the advent of smartphones and IT industries, technology has been rapidly changing the way we live and work. Waze, Grab, Uber are helping us cope with the increased demand for speed and mobility. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram are disrupting how we connect with our peers and how we work. Without exception, companies, individuals, and governments have scrambled to adapt to these ever-changing times. And with the power of technology, health-focused tech startups and solutions represent an important opportunity to widen access to basic services in ways that have never been done before. Switzerland is no stranger to innovation. Health technology is one of the fastest growing and most innovative sectors of the Swiss economy. Wepa, for instance, is a Zurich-based company that built an app for people in remote areas such as the Swiss Alps. From the farthest areas, you can request for emergency services, even when cellular, internet, or GPS connectivity is not available. No wonder Switzerland has one of the best healthcare systems in the world. Here in our country, the issue of public health remains a silent crisis. We have a ratio of only 1 doctor for every 33,000 patients. While so many of our countrymen remain at risk and vulnerable to sickness, accidents, and calamities with no medical facility nearby to address their needs. And these areas do not even have basic medical equipment, adequate infrastructure, and the staff are often undermanned or lack training. In effect, the Department of Health says that fewer doctors are willing to go to rural areas, and barangay health workers are underpaid, if not working for free, and sometimes they are the only medical practitioners in the community. I once visited a small coastal town south of Manila. The town is called Quezon, also in Quezon province. We met a doctor there, assigned from the DOH Doctors to the Barrios program. Very, very young lady doctor. And she sends her medical findings to the Philippine General Hospital to be analyzed by medical specialists because there are none in that small town. She sends this through a text messaging app, which I don't know if she designed it herself, but I think they're using a particular app. And it's been very, very, very useful, not just for her, but for the residents as well. She was telling us when we went there that there is no specialist in the entire town. It's in the island of Alabat. I don't know if you are familiar with it, but it's an island of Gumaca. There are 3 towns there: Alabat, Quezon, and Perez. And this lady doctor we met in Quezon, she said that when they started doing it, the 2 neighboring towns started doing it as well. So even if there are no specialists in that island, they're able to get the analysis and recommendations of medical specialists in PGH. To me, that was an important piece of innovation because it met a critical need in a place that has been left behind by progress, virtually invisible to the entire country. We see these kinds of places all the time in our visits to the poorest and most remote communities around the country. We saw how so many of our people still do not have access to even the most basic health care. I do not know if you have heard of also a tiny town called Agutaya. It is a very small municipality in northern Palawan. Siyempre yung Swedish, alam niyo yan. To be able to get to Agutaya, you have to take a 10-hour boat ride from Coron. That means its nearest hospital, its nearest critical health facility is a 10-hour boat ride away. And that boat does not even travel to Agutaya every day. We went there. And we saw something more alarming. Kasi when we went, the only public school there, the teachers of that public school asked the students to line up the streets to meet me. Because apparently not too many national government officials are able to go. So they were excited to meet a national government official who was visiting. But you know, what struck me there was the principal was introducing, these are the grade 1 students, these are the grade 2 students, and so on and so forth. And I noticed something, that the grade 5 students were almost as tall or as small as the grade 1 students. So I was asking the doctor who was with us what the condition was, and the doctor was saying that most of the children there were suffering from a condition called stunting. And the bad thing about stunting is that it is irreversible after the age of 5. Not only does it affect the children's height, but also their mental faculties. It was so disheartening to find how limited access to healthcare is depriving so many of our young people to reach their full potential. When we went back to Manila after our trip to Agutaya, we learned that at least 3.5 million Filipino children are suffering from stunting. This is the sad reality of public health in our country. While access to technology has exploded, so many of our people are still left behind. How do we then revolutionize our country's healthcare, making sure that no Filipino is left behind? I believe that the answer partly lies in your hands. By expanding tech startups like yours with solutions that directly address society's greatest needs, the possibilities are endless. The good news is the Philippines is a promising market for tech companies of all types. Filipinos have some of the world's highest levels of online brand engagement. But of course you know that growth in internet penetration, social media account usage, and other indicators of digital uptake. Despite the challenges in the ICT sector, particularly on internet infrastructure and connectivity, opportunities abound. We have other competitive advantages such as low operating costs, English language proficiency, and minimal business competition. Ultimately, the Filipinos' inherent creativity and ingenuity are something that the government and the private sector can capitalize on. As a matter of fact, the government is very supportive of expanding tech startups, acknowledging how they have the potential to address various problems in the country. This was mentioned a while ago, but DOST has recently launched its roadmap for digital startups last August. It aimed to develop a coherent and consistent strategic plan to generate startups that drive economic growth and provide solutions to our society's most pervasive issues. I do not know if you have already heard about the local startup called Sustainable Alternative Lighting, or SALT. It was co-founded by a young Filipina scientist and engineer, Icymi, and her brother, Rafael. Isa's vision was to find alternative sources of energy for our marginalized communities. So what she did was she developed an electrochemical LED lamp, only with salt water, as electrolyte that can charge low-power mobile devices. Salt started by joining the Philippine-based Idea Space competition, battling other startups for a spot in the top 10 and an opportunity to receive funding. Salt then went on to compete on the international level, becoming the only Asian startup to reach the top 5 in the World Startup Competition. And it wowed the likes of Alibaba founder Jack Ma and former US President Barack Obama. The inspiration and science behind salt was simple: to light up the rest of the Philippines by providing electricity using only table salt and water. And it started with a vision and one person who was willing to turn that vision into a reality. I believe that the future of our nation lies in the hands of innovative entrepreneurs like you. When businesses and startups like yours put the Filipino people at the forefront of your efforts, progress can finally reach the last, the least, and the lost. Clearly, there is no better time than today to do more and to do better for our people. Currently, through the Office of the Vice President's flagship program called Buhay, we are doing a series of consultations from the private sector and the government on how to empower our industries, including information technology and business process outsourcing, while at the same time effectively creating job opportunities, especially to those living in the countryside. It is no surprise that the outcry of our people are sustainable jobs. That is why we hope to partner with you. Actually, we talked about this with Dr. Kang already earlier. And that one of these days, we will be able to present to you our program, discuss with you, and learn directly from you. Because the truth is, making our country better is a shared responsibility. The government cannot do it alone. We need your creativity and innovativeness in driving our country forward. With the opportunities at your doorstep, I hope that you will continue to find ways of doing things better as you move forward. Disrupt, innovate, so that more of our people will have the health services they need and they deserve. Uphold best practices among yourselves, exchange experiences and ideas with your peers, and collaborate on projects. The impossible can always be possible when we are willing to do everything we can to succeed and when we do it together. So congratulations again to the finalists and the winners of I would like to thank all of you are winners of the Healthtech Challenge, and let this competition inspire you to keep pushing the limits of innovation as you respond to the challenges of our time. So I would like again to thank the U.S. Embassy, AIM, Swiss Embassy, Swiss Embassy, AIM, TechTalks.ph for inviting me over to join you this morning. This has been a wonderful opportunity to spend my morning with you. Congratulations again to everyone. Good morning.